Good evening, everyone. It's Jackie Van Work, founder of Grieving Moms Finding Hope, and I am up in Portland right now, visiting with my beautiful daughter in love that's wanting to so badly get on here. And this is my adorable little grandson, Grayson. Can you say hi? Yes, and this is sort of like how we do Facebook Lives. Can you tell them how old you're going to be? Tell them. He's mesmerized because he's looking at Carrie's beautiful face right now. He's like, oh, look at that lady. He's very serious, but he's usually not. Tell him how old you're going to be. Say 2. You're going to be 2. Grayson's going to be 2, November 25th. He's like a month before Christmas. And I don't know why he's being very serious, but where's Noni? Where's Noni? Yeah, he says my name. So anyway, I couldn't resist bringing him on here because this little boy, you can say hi, was a little gift brought to us from heaven after Randy passed away. And we found out that Kristen and Mitch were pregnant. And then we knew that we had a baby arriving a month before Christmas. And I just love him. And I actually snuck up here to see him, even though I wasn't supposed to be here, I think a day or so right after he was born. Oh, that's great. They're going to love those all over the floor. Don't tell mommy. So anyway, I don't want to steal like Carrie's thunder, but I also don't want to just waste another minute. Well, there's the attention span of an almost 2-year-old. But I want to introduce my beautiful friend, Carrie. Carrie and I have met at Saddleback Church through another beautiful friend named Shondell. And I just want to thank Shondell for introducing me to Carrie because I just adore her. And it's just so funny how God works. And her husband is a pastor at Saddleback Church. I hope you don't mind me saying that. And he's a wonderful man. His name is Dave. And he was actually speaking at church that particular day. And by the way, just as a side note, Carrie thought we started at 6:30.
I did.
And so we were thinking she was just going to do a test run, but you know what? Carrie is full of life and love, and she has her story, and I would like for her to share that with you guys. And thank you, Carrie, for being here, sincerely from the bottom of my heart.
Well, it's my pleasure, and you know that, Jackie, and I love you so much, and we miss you so much down here, but it's amazing that God is taking your story and your gifts and your talents and taking them all the way up to the Pacific Northwest and beyond, and to be magical and miraculous, you know, to the moms that are lives that are going to be touched and changed because you know, get your comfort zone and go do so.
Thank you, Carrie. And I just want to say that that sound in the background is Grayson's working on his carpenter's bench.
That's okay. Hopefully someday I will have that distraction, Jackie.
What's that?
Hopefully someday I will have that same distraction of a little grandkid.
Oh, it is a blessing. Bye, Grayson. Especially something's burning. Anyway, yes, it's a beautiful distraction, and it was one that God needed us to have. But anyway, I just know that coming on here is not an easy thing for anybody to do because we're having to resurrect some of these feelings that we had, and even though I know it's been a long time for you, it doesn't matter. People say, "Oh, aren't you over it yet?" And haven't you gotten over it? And we don't get over it; we get through it. And Carrie, as you know, sometimes I come through here and I want to say hi to some of the moms while they're on here, and someone say Michelle. And Kathy's on here, and I can't scroll for some reason on here. But anyways, from time to time, I just like to welcome. And ladies, don't forget, I'd like for you to let us know where you're viewing from. It's really awesome to see where we're reaching out and hopefully providing some hope and healing for the moms. So Carrie, tell us a little bit about your beautiful little girl.
Well, we have 3 amazing kids, and our oldest is Joshua. He's 29. Then we have Jessica. She's 26, and then we have our forever 5-year-old. That would be Jacqueline Brooke Page. And moms, I would encourage you, any opportunity like I just had, to say your child's name out loud, go for it. Because
I love it.
That's one of the little things, Jackie, that I realized very quickly that was just another whole level of devastation, was not having any reason whatsoever to call out her sweet little name. Just, whereas it was a name I was saying 100 times a day, Jackie, Jackie. I was a stay-at-home mom, and we were glued together. I realized in an instant that her name wasn't just going to be falling off my lips like it was. So, moms, whenever you're given the opportunity or take an opportunity to say your child's name out loud, Jacqueline Brooke Page, we call her Jackie, a little forever 5-year-old. Sign their names. Those are the little things I'm just realizing. I realized very quickly that it was that was another devastating level of her not being with us. So very quickly, the story was that we all went to bed the night before Y2K, December 31st, 1999. We'd been to a really fun New Year's Eve party. And just a quick little sidebar that was just an absolute gift from God that He gave us that evening was our 2 other children had already accepted Jesus. I had the precious opportunity of leading them to the Lord. And on New Year's Eve night, before we went to our little party, Jessica came in the kitchen holding Jackie's hand. She had literally just turned 5 on December 20th. And she's like, Mommy, Jackie's ready to ask Jesus in her heart. And I'm like, oh, and then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? This one's Dave's. I got to lead the other 2. I had the privilege of leading the other 2 kids to the Lord. This one's Dave. Walked her down the hallway. Dave put her up on his knee. Just simply walked her and talked her through the little steps of asking Jesus in her heart. And before we headed off to our little party, Jackie asked Jesus in her heart to be her personal Lord and Savior. So we went to the party. We had so much fun. We had a thing to get up for the next morning. I tell you what, we went to bed the happiest normal family that night. And when we woke up the next morning, Jackie was not herself. She was very emotional. She kind of couldn't get her thoughts together. She kind of couldn't get her act together to get down and into the minivan. We were trying to get ready to go. And I even got frustrated. And I just was like, come on, Jackie, we're going to be late. And we got in the car, we went to our thing, we came back, and she was just a mess, a crying, emotional mess. And I had to catch myself and just be like, come on, Carrie, get a grip. It's the new year. And I literally apologized to her. And I'm just like, Jackie, I'm so sorry. Mommy's been so grumpy. It's January 1st. It's a new year, and we're just going to celebrate and have fun the rest of the day. And that perked her spirits up a little bit, but she was not herself. We watched her for a week and a half, and we just watched symptoms continue to emerge from chewing and swallowing issues. She was drooling a lot. She was getting off balance. I have a background in adapted PE, which is has a similar track as physical therapy in some ways. I knew there was something really wrong with our daughter. So about a week and a half into the new year, dropped her off at preschool, realized I just needed to go back and pick her up. I just knew there was something wrong with her. Went back, got her, called Kaiser, told them her symptoms, and they said, that's indicative of possible brain injury, whatever. Took her in, they did a CAT scan, they didn't find anything. They tested her for a week and a half. They took gallons of blood, every body fluid imaginable, the spinal tap, never mentioned cancer. They find spinal meningitis, Lyme's disease, you name it, they tested her for it, nothing. They never mentioned cancer, never mentioned a tumor. Literally a week and a half into testing, they're like, well, she's testing clean for everything. What we have left is an MRI. So we went into Sacramento, did the MRI. We were literally so unconcerned about it. Dave went on to the airport because he was flying down to Saddleback. A whole bunch of our church staff was already down here at one of their big conferences in January of 2000. He jumped on the plane, flew down. By the time I got home, an hour away, had the horrible, devastating phone call from our pediatrician that I needed to get home, Dave, right away because our daughter, it was the worst possible news, and she had a terminal. Our pediatrician didn't tell us it was terminal. The next day when we met the neurosurgeon, he told us it was terminal, it was inoperable, non-treatable. We maybe had 2 months left with her. And I just jammed through that. And there were so many shocking, jolting levels to that diagnosis because we hadn't even been used the cancer word. You know, we thought we were taking her to the MRI just to clear her, and she would eventually just start from recovering from whatever she had. So our that Thursday afternoon in the pediatric oncologist surgeon's office, our world fell apart when he told us Jackie was not in the room when we were given the diagnosis. And again, to fast forward through an awful lot of stuff, 6 weeks later she was gone. And we did attempt one radiation treatment. She did fine for the first one. The second one, she fell apart. So she just wasn't having it. She just wanted to be home. She wanted to be home with her family. And we never told her she had a brain tumor. She never asked, so we didn't tell her. She knew she had an owie in her head that we were, that we were trying to get better. And 3 weeks into her diagnosis, we officially chose to become hospice patients. And the main reason behind that was just so there'd be no more doctor visits, no more, she called them pinches, no more needles anywhere in her body. And she was so happy the night that we made the decision that we were going to be all done with doctors. And we had her for 3 more weeks, and they were she continued to fail rapidly. She very quickly, even within about the first week and a half, when we were still trying to figure out what she had, she looked like she'd had a little stroke. So they were testing her like crazy, because they're like, well, that happens sometimes, you know, but she hadn't had a stroke. The right side of her body was being affected, including her face. And, you know, she just, you know, you go to sleep at night and you wake up regenerated, you know, ready to face the new day with what Jackie had, and with what other people and children with degenerative diseases have. Nighttime sleep does not heal your body. It does not rejuvenate and regenerate you. Your body continues to degenerate. So we knew, Dave and I didn't tell each other this till after she was gone, but every night when we would go and pray for her, we'd go in and pray separately, and we would pray quietly and tell Jesus that if it was better just to take her home, if that would mean she wouldn't suffer, to please just not even let her, you know, wake up the next morning. So, but he let us have her for 6 weeks total, from the time we found it till March 4th, 9:40 a.m. and on a Saturday morning. We were in our living room, and I'd been up through the night with her and with my oldest sister Sharon. We were on comfort meds at that point with hospice. The comfort combination cocktail of end of life meds there. And by Saturday morning, Dave and I were both holding her on the couch. Our 2 kids did not, they were young at that point, 7 and 10. They did not want to be up there in the living room as she was taking her last few breaths. So they were down in our garage / room. But Dave and I were holding her as she took her last breath, and Jesus was in the room, the Holy Spirit was in the room, and Jackie, I got it. I jammed through that. I left out all kinds of stuff. But
of course.
What I gotta just tell you, and what I have to share with everybody, is we've been studying Job, and the gal Lisa Harper that's doing it points out, and I love how she says it, and I'm going to say it like this forever and ever now, that the veil gets thinner and thinner. The more that we're suffering, the more that we're in pain, the veil between heaven and earth just gets thinner and thinner and thinner, because God is so close to the brokenhearted, and he's with us in our suffering. He's the God of suffering. He suffered more than any of us will ever know through what happened with his son, and that's exactly how it was. Just the veil was like thin, wispy curtains, and it was that thin.
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Like I love when somebody can help to give us some words and a way to be able to get through this, and just, you know, to fill in that place where we don't know how to fill in. And for those of you that are just joining us, this is my beautiful friend Carrie that I just love and adore, and we just hit it off immediately. And she's sharing about her little daughter Jackie, who was 5 years old when she went home to meet with Jesus. And we know there's a lot of you on here that it may have just happened not too long ago. And I want to say hi again to Shell and to Tammy and to Elaine and Kathleen. And I think there was here, a Dot is on here. Elaine, this is your first visit. Welcome. I know, again, ladies, it's not like the club that you want to be a part of. But I am so genuinely, and so is Carrie, like happy that you're here, because what we do here at Grieving Moms Finding Hope, and the reason that Carrie and I are such amazing friends is because we have walked this journey together through a whole group time through the Grieving Moms Finding Hope book, the resurfacing. And I usually have it, and of course, my bad, I didn't even bring it with me, but that's okay. It's a 12-week program that we go at, and you can do it, on a Zoom call that looks very similar to this with the Grieving Moms in a church, which is where Carrie and I met with some other amazing, adorable friends that I just cherish so much. And the reason that we become friends is because there's an immediate connection. There's just something, there's just a language that we all know. And the only way that I keep saying that it makes it so much easier to get through this is to be in a group, be in a group, be in a group, be in a group. And I keep saying that, and Carrie, I know, will affirm that. And, we've got God's word, we've got our time with him, we have happy, joyful moments, but there's just, I hate to say that, but there's that safety in numbers. There's that understanding. And when you go through something as devastating as this, there's just no friendship that you can compare this to when you've got another mom. Like, I feel like I've known Carrie for such a long time.
Yes.
And Andrea, and Paige and Lisa and Cheryl and Millie, and just like I can go on, and Michelle and Lisa and
Denise.
so many of us, I didn't like to name names because I don't want to leave anybody out, but it just goes on. It just goes on. So Carrie, we're approaching, the holidays, and this is something that no one wants to talk about, I know. And, you've been through many holidays, with the absence of your precious little daughter, Jackie. And is there anything that you can share with the moms because we know, ladies, that part of the whole issue with going through the holidays is the expectations of what was normal, what the other family members are going to want to do or not going to do. And it's like more difficult, I think, waiting and anticipating than the actual event. So is there anything you can share with them, Carrie?
That's what I would lead with, is that I discovered going through the whole first year, even the anniversaries of whether it was a birthday or a holiday, or the horrible, the anniversary day of when she went to heaven. Definitely, in hindsight, the anticipation of the day itself was much worse, because especially the first year, that going through it the first time, you just didn't know what to expect, and you already felt like you weren't going to survive this, because, and I know everybody out there can relate to this, you just feel like you can't breathe and like you're not breathing. You are breathing, your lungs are filling up with air, there's blood circulating through your body, but it is just the weirdest sensation. But across the board, I think we have all agreed that we felt this sensation of just being suffocated. And so so you already feel like you're not going to survive it, and like the big day's not even here yet. So, and with Jackie, it was really rough because we had just gone through the holidays from Halloween. She was Dorothy, loved her little ruby red shoes. She went through Halloween and Thanksgiving, and then she had her first official little friend's birthday party, because her birthday is December 20th. So that's all right in there too. So she just had her first birthday party with all of her little girlfriends, and then it was Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then New Year's, and then literally January 1st, our spiral started. So for me, coming into the holidays for several years was like a nightmare, because to me that was just like the start of really when it all started. From the remembering back to, oh my gosh, we had just gone through all the holidays. So what I would underscore is what you just said, that just know that most times the anticipation of the day itself turned out to be actually worse than the day, because guess what, the sun comes up and the day is here. And you know what, moms, just do what you can, do what feels right for you, especially the first year or even the second year or third year, as you're just acclimating to your new reality and what your family situation is. Because if you start trying to do things the same, it won't feel the same, because it isn't the same. But if you have other kids, they're going to want to, still do something. I mean, they still need to celebrate and recognize whatever the holiday is. But I can't state enough. Just only do what you can do. Let other people take some of the load. Don't, if you normally like maybe host it or something and you just don't want to do that, don't do it. If it makes would make you feel better to have people over. This is a really tricky territory to get into, Jackie, because I know you, it's different for everybody. You know, maybe
Yeah, it is different.
for
And I
people,
think what you said was like a very valuable like comment is, just to do what you feel
yes,
that you want to do. Don't feel as though you've got to do traditions that are remembering exactly the way that, your child did it, or, and everybody, the hard part is everybody's not going to want to do the same thing. So we actually went away for the holidays, that first year and the second year. We're actually going to go away again because we don't want to be around anything that's bringing on those triggers. And I know that's like not something that's, within your budget. I mean, you can do a lot of things to change it up, but give yourselves a lot of grace. And I wanted to say that I was just looking on here, and Elaine, I'm so sorry. It's you're at 5 months, and Carrie and I totally understand, and so many of us, it is unbearable. It is absolutely unbearable. And I will tell you that, I'm almost at 3 years. There's no, like Carrie keeps saying, it's like everybody's going to do holidays different. They're going to do anniversaries. They're going to do how they enter back in, how they resurface back and back into their lives. And again, if you're just joining us, again, we're always encouraging to get into a group with Grieving Moms, and it's grievingmoms.com, and you click on groups. And it's a very minimal cost to be able. I mean, it is the best therapy, as far as I'm concerned, that you will get into, aside from the counseling that most of us need. And again, we always want to emphasize that moms are always putting themselves first or less, and that they need to sometimes put themselves first,
right,
because you have to be. You're always, everybody looks to you to be strong, and oh my gosh, mom is falling apart. Like, then we're going to fall apart. But you have to be very open and communicate. So, say, you know what, this Christmas, or, coming up this Thanksgiving, like, I don't really want to make a turkey. I don't want to hang the stockings. That was my big thing. I don't want to hang stockings. It is just because it was my thing to do before everybody went to bed. I was in charge of the stockings. And the thought of taking out Randy's stocking was absolutely horrifying for me. And just the thought about his absence, and this empty stocking. But all the feelings. But again, Carrie and I have seen a lot of the moms, right, Carrie, have gone through, and they have made considerable efforts at healing, because, and we actually even laugh in our group, which is a beautiful thing.
a lot.
A lot. We laugh a lot, and we have to sometimes say, I just can't, like, some of the moms say, oh my gosh, we're laughing so hard, but nobody's feeling guilty about having that joy. Because remember, your child wants you to laugh.
Yes.
They want you to go on. I mean, they're fine now. It's us that's on this side. And, grieving is because there's this desire to want to love, but you can't because the person's not there anymore. But they're busy and they're doing their things and up in heaven, and they're waiting and anticipating, but there's no fear, there's no pain, there's no sorrow. And yeah, Kathleen's saying, I wish I could just skip over the holidays. And I want to say hi to Tamara and Genevieve. Welcome, ladies. I'm so thankful you're here listening to Carrie. And Carrie has we were really playing the game of technology here, and I'm so proud of you, Carrie, for getting on here. And I think that it was, again, for you, we can just say it was the anticipation of not knowing, right?
Yes. Oh no, I could do this. I could do this part all night. You know that's true. That's true. No, I'm just really fumbly and bumbly with techno. It's embarrassing. I wish I wasn't, but yeah. And
You did great, though.
This is the wonderful part, and to the moms out there, just thank you and bless you for tuning in. I know some of this stuff is really hard to listen to, and what I just really want to say is we can live, breathe, and speak words and move on and move forward because we have Jesus. I'm just going to say this straight up with no apologies. Do not try to do this without the Lord, because you'll make a few steps, but oh my gosh, I don't know where I would be. I don't think our marriage would have survived. I'm not sure how our kids would be. If I didn't have Jesus to cling to, and the hope of where my daughter is, and the hope that we're going to be there. And again, that veil is so much thinner between heaven and earth now that I have other loved ones up there, precious grandparents and aunts, uncles, cousins. My dad is up there now, some wonderful friends. But now that one of our children is up there, the veil is so much thinner. And I have a hope that's literally otherworldly, because it's the hope of Jesus and glory and eternity. And like you were saying, Jackie, our kids are already there. They're fine. And we need to grieve. God created us with the capacity to grieve, because he knew that as humans, if we don't grieve, it will kill us. Because our bodies couldn't. I don't think our bodies could handle emotionally or physically what we go through when we grieve, if God didn't give us the actual capacity, you know what I mean,
Yes.
to feel it and go through the emotions and go through the motions. But also, and this is the key, with the Lord, grieve with the hope of the Lord. Turn to Jesus, open your word, open the Bible. You guys, if you feel like you can't open the Bible yet, I get that. I was so mad at God. I felt like the whole Bible was one whole betrayal to me. That was just, initial emotions. But I'm telling you what, when you get to the point that you can open the Bible, just read a psalm. If you just start reading through the Psalms, you know what? You will be so reminded of how loved you are, how known you are, how seen you are, how cared for you are, how how God how God is walking us through the valley of the shadow of death. If you if you're having a hard time opening the Bible, just get yourself to the book of Psalms. You will be so taken care of just in the book of Psalms. He will just remind you,
Yes.
been there. He will get us through that. And you'll read words that are already written for you, that are how you're feeling. My bones are crying out, I'm gasping for air, I'm feeling like I'm dying. David wrote all of those in the book of Psalms, and it gives words to our emotions, and it helps so much. All I'm saying is, look to the Lord. Do this with the Lord. Do it with the hope of the Lord. And you know what? You will get through. And then with support groups like this, and Jackie's wonderful leadership with this amazing support group, you're going to get through this, and take the holidays one step at a time. Do what you
Yeah.
can.
One step at a time, for
One
sure.
step at
And
a
you
time.
know what? If you can't read the word, because I'm seeing some of you on here saying, we'll try to read, and I read the word even when my desire is not there. And by the way, if you have YouVersion on your phone, there's apps the Bible, they will read the Bible to you. You can listen
Yeah,
to it verbally, and that way you can sit back and close your eyes and listen to it.
it's a great
I
idea.
put out a Holy Sunrise every day, and if you miss it on Facebook, you can get it in your personal email. There's no spam or nothing that comes through, but it's Hope at Sunrise. It starts with a devotion,
I
and
love
just
that.
share my adventure with. I call it an adventure through grief, because you never know. Adventure is the anticipation of not sometimes knowing what is going to happen around the corner, but just being able to get through that. So that is totally a complimentary thing for you to be joining together on. And then being here every Tuesday, we do at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do the Facebook Live called Hope After the Landslide. And I have moms like as beautiful as Carrie here sharing their story if they're willing to do that. And it's not everybody can do that, but I'm so thankful to the moms that are able to do that. And ladies, for sure, there's a lot of resources on this Facebook page and on the Grieving Moms website that are there. And again, I will end with this. And can Grayson come up again? And then just to say that the groups are really, again, the huge part of the healing. And I'm going to have my daughter-in-law bring Grayson up, but I want to tell you, one of the ladies said, I want to find joy and laughter again. This morning I made potatoes and eggs, and I put a ton of paprika on it. And later when I put the paprika away, I noticed that there was paprika and it wasn't expired, and I ate a whole thing with worms. So come here, and I wanted to make you, can you say hi? Come here. Come here. You wave to Carrie. Wait. This is Grayson. This is my third grandson. Can you wave?
Hi,
Can you
Grayson.
tell them how old you are? Tell them how old you are. Show them. How he's going to be 2. And can you please, we wrap up by saying, can you say Noni? Where's Noni? You say Noni? Well, who is that? Say Carrie. So anyway, I told Carrie in the very beginning, if you just came on just now, but Grayson was a little gift from heaven because we found out that Kristen, my daughter-in-law, was married to my son Mitchell, was pregnant just a few months after Randy had passed away. And there he goes again. And it was like this thing to look forward to, to be able to say, we're going to have a life brought into the Van Workum family. And he'll be 2, and he has been such a joy. And I'm up here visiting right now because my son went out of town for a few days, and I wanted to keep them company and spend some quality time. And so here we are. Thanks to technology, we can travel. And And I left the video. Oh, that's nice. Can I have it? I left a video today. Whatever it is that makes you guys happy, whatever brings you joy, obviously making it healthy choices. Do it. Go for a car ride, go for a swim at the indoor gym. Love on babies like this one, have spaghetti dinner, have dessert before dinner, whatever it is, give yourself grace. And Carrie, thank you so much. I just love you so much. You will never know. And I'm so thankful. Carrie's running the Grieving Moms group down there at Saddleback Church.
In Lake Forest.
You're so serious.
Thursday nights, Lake Forest at 6:30. Yeah. Yes.
And you can find them on the Saddleback Church website, or you can even inquire here. But ladies, again, you say yeah. Are you cute? Yeah. Are you cute? He's allowed to say yeah. It's good. It's better than saying no. But anyways, thank you guys for being here. Continue to say where you're viewing from. And Shell and Elaine, and waving to them again, and Kathleen, all of you guys that I'm seeing here right now. Right now, we understand. We hear your pain. We hear your pain, but we're really, really glad you're here.
We'll get through the holidays. You'll do it one day at a time, one breath at a time. Just do what you can. When it's too much, just step back. Self-care. God would want you to do that. Your child is in a good place. You guys, moms are going to get through this, but look to other people, support, because this is coming up on a tough time. We're not going to candy coat it, right, Jackie? We're coming up on a tough time of the year. But
you can't put it. You're just going to have to be like a soldier for Christ, and you're just going to have to walk through it. And they will get a little bit easier as time goes by, but the key is just try to change things up if you can. Try to change things up. All right. Thank you, Carrie. And we will see you guys next week. And you can always email me, Jackie@grievingmoms.com, if you feel like you want to share your story, because you guys never know. You may be helping just one mom by sharing your story, something that they could relate, somebody's different personality. And someone here is running out of patience. And I'm going to go down with him, but God bless each and every one of you. Yeah, tell him how it is, Grayson. And we will see you next week.
Love you guys. Bye.
I love you.
Bye.